Oh, God. I need to wake up. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay. Good morning. Hi, good morning. こんばんは。おはようございます。なんてこんな。What was my intro again? Oh, yeah. おはようございます。こんばんは。おやすみ。俺は名前はFumiyoくん。俺は最強妖怪。よろしくお願いします。Hello. My name is Fumiyo kun. I am the best ghost, the only ghost that you need, and it's a pleasure to have all of you here today on Poetry Day as I try my best to wake up. Jesus. Oh. Hi, local pro tag. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hi, Lumi. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hello, Ryan. Welcome to the stream. Okay. Sleepy boyfriend ASMR. No, no, it won't be. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning. Are these poems gonna be curses or in cursive? I literally have no idea. Okay, delicate. Thank you. Mark. Hi, Mark. Hello, Mark. Welcome to the stream. Hello. Are you alive? I literally just woke up, mate. Any brain cells you have, bruh? None. So, basically, for those who might be thinking, did he go to bed a little bit too late? No, I went to bed at 11 my time and have been asleep since. So, I was hibernating. I mean, obviously, I had to wake up to take a piss occasionally and all that. But, what happened is I slept a little too much, and I had literally an alarm clock to wake me up about 2:30 so that I can freshen up and be a bit more energetic. So I didn't sleep. I didn't wake up until like literally 10-15 minutes ago. So yeah. Drink some coffee, bro. Yeah, I'll have some coffee later. Hello, Fancy Fumi. Hello, Nuggy. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Hi. I'll donate one brain cell each. Oh, thank you guys. You guys are too kind. You slept for like 15 hours, bruh. Mate. Like, the pain in my tooth is genuinely making me really tired. Hence, I've been sleeping a lot more. I slept at 9 a.m. and I regret it. Hi, Mina. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Mate, sleep more, okay? As a fact, to ask Ryan if you were dead, yeah, it probably would have been a safe bet at this point. I can donate all of my brain cells as I just graduated and don't need them. But those brain cells would be a bit fried, don't you think? Because of all the coffee and all the studying that you had to do. I literally, like, I had to put on clothes before I started upstream because I was just in my boxers. So, yeah, I don't know if you'd noticed, but I sent you a poem to use for the stream. Thanks, mate. Thanks. And I appreciated that, actually. For context, I was panicking because I didn't write any poems at all for today, basically. So I was in the bathroom taking a shit, and I was sort of like writing there, and I texted Ryan, hey, I don't have any poems. I was just panicking. So Ryan was too kind to donate a poem from his end, which, we'll read. I did manage to find 2 other poems to read, and they've sort of half written. So I wrote one. I found 2 poems from back in the day, from about 3 years ago, that I wrote, so we can read that. And then, yeah, we have a poem from Ryan, so... yeah. I'm trying my best to wake up. I'm really... can this just be a sleeping stream? Can we just all go to bed? Oh, I'm not showing this box as no one cares or can see. It's too cold, mate. Like, I don't know if you can hear me rubbing my fingers, but it's just it's too cold. I need water. Thank you. So, as for today's agenda, it's the usual business, as we always know, which is just read poems and then some fan submitted ones, and then we're gonna go proceed on to the stories. But we'll wait a couple more minutes for my voice to return back to normal. And other things as well. Those hands sound dry. Yeah, I put some baby powder on them, hence why they're very dry. But they're not always dry. Wear a damn jacket or wrap a blanket around you. I know it's cold there. Yeah, I have a hoodie on right now, so. Ooh, oh yeah. This is a great way to wake up. So, starting next week, Sunday, we will be having an event, I guess you can say. It's a way for me to thank people for, this 200 milestone. So the karaoke stream was for the 100 subscribers milestone, while the 200 subscriber milestone will be this one. Well, not this one, but next week, which is going to be called Demon Week. So, Demon Week is going to be a week where I play very hard games, in my opinion. Games that are very hard, games that are very treacherous. And I will be playing them for more than 2 hours. So expect streams to last 3 to 6 hours, hopefully next week. So the games that I've selected for Demon Week will be a secret, but I will only let you know of one of them, which is going to be Demon Souls. So we will be playing Demon Souls as part of Demon Week, but 2 other games as well. Poetry Day won't be changed. It will be on Friday. It won't have any specific status effects to make it any, demon-like. So there is no demonness to the Poetry Day. Maybe I will do something to it, but we will be having a very rough week in terms of games next week. So yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting week. So starting from Monday up until Wednesday is going to be, of course, Demon Week, and then Friday is going to be our normal scheduled poetry. So yeah. I feel myself waking up finally. I think I'm getting there. Yes, it will be rough. Sounds good. Yeah, in concept. In theory, it should be good. In theory. So, we don't know if it will work out as good as we want it to be. So, today we'll be also reading 2 chapters from the book, as I saw that one chapter is extremely long, while the other chapter is kind of like a throwaway, so we could just throw it in there for free. So you have 2. I will remind you what to do later on, but for now, poem time. So, of the poem that I managed to write, this is the one that I managed to write. So, here we go. A coat of feather gilded in silver, a woman who chose her semblance as a crow went in further. A town ravaged by a disease changed its inhabitants, turning the peaceful into violent combatants. One could only wonder of the ailment that caused the change, a fungal infection or the words seen on a page. Were they turned or unshackled from their cage? Is freedom the absence of responsibility, or is it the normalization of insanity? For one to be truly free, one must abandon all concepts of man, even the traditions that through the years have ran. The logical and the moral, the beautiful and the ugly. All that we know must be abandoned for the freedom that we see. The price of freedom grows as the days pass on. The economy of our entitled feelings and rights grows to move on. The cloaked figure in feather, driven perhaps not by madness, but by freedom of her own sadness. Yet in such trying times there are those who find happiness, whether it is in the chaos or in the madness. So I wrote that in the bathroom today as I woke up. I literally turned on some music. It was ambient music, so it was ambience more than anything. There was no instrument to it. It was just more like ambience. And I know specifically what I was thinking of when I wrote this. So I thought of... Does anybody remember the cloaked figure in Bloodborne? The one crow-like lady, the huntress. So she, I think, is the resemblance of this. I think I was thinking of why would someone so sane and so normal traverse into a town that is full of beasts, ravenous creatures, and people have gone mad and insane? And I think I wrote this as a questioning to her as to why would you do such a thing? Why couldn't you just ran away from this place? Granted, the entirety of Bloodborne is just, good God. She uses the Blades of Mercy from what I remember. Yes, she does. The Blades of Mercy were really, really badass in my opinion. Yeah, badass. But of course, I preferred Lady Maria and her like two lovely blades. It was more flexible and much more elegant. I mean, granted, the Blades of Mercy were also elegant. So, I guess I wrote this in commemoration to her. But yeah. Oh, hi and hello, welcome to the stream. I just woke up. We just started one poem. Now we're moving on to the second ones. So, our second poem of our lovely day is the following. Here we are. So this one, we went on to look for a lot. Good morning. Thank you. Good morning. So in my attempt to scramble for any poem to read for the day, I went on back to my Wattpad page and I found a poem book that I've apparently written with lovely amounts of them. And here's one of them. This one's called Abakaras. So, shall we? A journey to one's mind is treacherous, for an overdose of the unconscious could leak into the conscious. One's journey to a mind could lead to a barren land, not dangerous, yet preposterous. A sight never before seen, even upon your lonely nights. A sight of shadows that you can never see, even with your trickery of lights. Man finds this place familiar yet unfamiliar, a place that seems so similar yet unfamiliar. A journey to one's mind could be a journey to one's death, for an overdose of one who we do not see could cut out our breath. For now you understand that self-hatred that has given us themselves. For now you understand the treasures and the stretches of these books in their shelves. Now you know why they keep this to themselves. Don't you believe me? Then take my hand and prepare to see what lies beneath or above who I used to be. You may find something that reminds you of you, or something that you do not want to do. Welcome to Abakaras. Wattpad, oh no. Yeah, I know a lot of teenage angst. Lovingly. Don't ask why I'm awake, but hello, see man. Hello, Kicks, hello. Welcome to the stream, hello, good morning. I just woke up, so my reading skills and my perception skills are ever so slowly fading. I don't think I have enough perception and or brain cells to do much, but as we are here, yeah. But yeah, Kicks, I agree with Mark, sleep more, come on mate. I told you this. If you are sleepy, don't go to my streams. If you choose to go to bed, choose bed over my streams, please. I would love you to sleep more. I care about everyone's sleep schedule, even though I don't care about mine, but still. So that's that one. I think, I don't know what I was thinking. I was 17 at the time when I wrote that. I think I was thinking more of like, ooh, hey, Edge, let's talk about journeying into one's mind and how stupidly preposterous it was. Good God, I didn't know what I was doing, but hey, it resulted in a fun little poem. So next one up, this one's called Mishmash. You should love the creativity in the naming scheme of my poems back in the day. You really should. What is sleep? I'm studying while listening. Okay. Good luck with your studying. I don't know if it's a good idea to have me as background noise when you're studying. Then again, I won't really blame you. I too put in some background music, so I can't really blame you. So here we are. So, mishmash, shall we? So, like a bulletin board with newspaper clippings, you built me up with your ideals and feelings. With your desires you dressed me, with your past you depressed me. I'm as smart as you wanted me to be, manufactured to suit the taste of the majority, manufactured to destroy the minority. You like me, I'm glad. I'm glad I have satisfied you more than my mother and my dad. They found my design to be too self-aware. They found my errors to be too complex to care. My original design is nowhere to be found, for my mother sought after the best and threw me to the ground. She found my lack of perfection so abnormal, so she did the manual work and went in for the internal. Up my brain she went in to fix that desire of having a piece of Twix, the desire of me to be loved, cared, to be bothered with being loved. Like a bulletin board you pin up what you like, even if it doesn't turn out like what it was supposed to be. Go on and play with me. Change me as many times and see how messed up I could turn out to be. So this one, I think I know what I was going through with this one. This, frankly enough, isn't about me. So this was, I think, I'm very dramatic. You'll hear quite a dramatic one here. So we were having an English homework where we had to write an essay regarding a pre-existing character that already existed. So personality-wise, it existed. But figuratively speaking, in terms of like figure and the hair color, the eye color, and all of that, they don't really exist within those confinements yet. So I decided to write something, and I remember my teacher just saying, no, this is not what we want, this is not what we want. And I kept on trying and approving and disapproving characters with her. And I sort of like decided, well, this is what the character turned out to be. Are we going to just deny certain people of their roles if they don't fit the image that we have of them? So it's sort of a thing. And then I went on to a whole tangent, I think, in my own head, where, you know how in Hollywood you usually are picked by people whom fit the role, so you don't really fit in the role, I would say, of like a certain character. So for example, they want Sherlock Holmes to be tall and sort of like lanky, so even if you are a great actor, if you're more buff, then you're not really picked for Sherlock Holmes. And I understand that line of thinking, but I feel like work speaks for us better than appearances. But apparently my teacher didn't really see that to be fit. So yeah, I think she was just trying to go for the jugular and go for something much, much deeper. I came to crash. Hello, welcome to the stream. While halfway AFK on the raft. Okay. Well, that's the thing. Hoot hoot, good morning, it's Comfy Owl. Hi, good morning, Comfy Owl. Welcome to the stream. Hello, both of you. I don't get eaten by the shark. And Owl, hello, good morning, welcome. So we are in our second poem of the day. Sorry, in our third poem of the day, which means that we're going to be reading one more poem as we proceed on to story time. So, excuse my slurring, excuse my stumbling upon words, and also my lack of ability to pronounce and enunciate certain words. I just woke up. So, sorry about that. Ooh, story time, Pog. Yeah, we're continuing our story. Before that, we will now read a poem submitted to us by Orion as a final aid to our inevitable death, as I lack poems. Granted, I found some, but hopefully this won't happen again. So yeah. Hello Lumi, thanks to you I stayed up scrolling through the Vtuber introduction videos on Twitter. Oh yeah. この名前はふみおくん。ふうくん。バラエティストリーマー。なおん。Alright. So, as we are, here we go to another poem. So this one's submitted by Ryan today. Very helpful. Thank you, Ryan. I really, really appreciate it. So here we are. Her name was Life. I did not treat her fairly. I ignored her day and night. Now I miss her daily. It seemed like every day was a fight. Now I see it was a dance of beauty. Give me a chance to do it right so I can restore my humanity. Give me a chance to see the light, as I can now see and recognize the quality. Give me sound because it's too quiet. I do not ask for life, I pray. And I will pray as long as I'm alive, because when she returns to me, she will heal my mind. She will replace my madness with sanity. If nothing else, oh dear life, she can keep me from being lonely. So, there we are. That's my my poem that is given to me by Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. I almost read the Use This poem as well. It's a good one. My sleep deprivation has seen limits far more worrying than humanity has ever perceived. Rather. But yeah, Lumi was supposed to do introduction videos of VTubers for her VTuber obviously model, but she didn't do one. I messaged her to do one, but yeah. Also, yes, I'm aware Lumi did make fan art of me on stream, which I was very happy of. It was very, very nice of her to do so, and I loved it. I really loved it. Obviously, as always, I loved it. So yeah, I found it worrying how the stream lasted about 3 hours, but you know, it is drawing, so I could understand. Oh, we do not have a wine emoji for YouTube, I take it. Yeah, we don't. I would explain the poem, but this is Ryan's poem, so I feel like it should have been Ryan to explain this. It was 4 minutes, what do you mean? No, so 4 hours. Ah, I see, 4 hours. Okay, I see. So, oh god. Elbow cough. Are we using this as a dab emoji now? There's no evidence. Yeah, and you deleted it in fear of DMCA. I know what you've done. I have sent my spy Kix to spy on you. He shall be my adversary. My advocate. Babs. I don't know what you mean. Alright, so it is time for story time. Finally, our favourite time of the day. Here we go. Ryan's explanation. Oh, I wrote this poem during quarantine when I missed going out and doing stuff, so life was a reference to just going out and feeling alive. Yep, there you go. That is Ryan's explanation to it. And I will say though, I share the feelings that he has towards quarantine, but later on, after a year, it was quicker for most people, I feel like, to react to quarantine, while I just sat there and went, it's a good time. I like this. I like being at home and not having to move. But then slowly, I went, oh god. But yeah, that's that. There's no evidence I plead the fifth. There's no fifth. You're pleading the fourth, and the fourth tells you no, you're lying. Good god. We are excruciatingly tired. I'll go right now, but I'm glad I've hopped in for the stream. Have fun with poem stream. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Take care and be safe. Do you want to catch these hands early in the morning? Honestly, mate, if it'll wake me up, that'll be lovely. Trying to wake up here. Well, we've finally reached our favourite part of the week for a couple of people. We are doing the story time. Woo! Story time! Woo! I can't sound enthusiastic. So, for those who are joining us recently, and or it is you have forgotten how to do, well, here we are. So, in the description of the video, there is going to be a... Oh, bye-bye, Ryan. Take care, be safe. Are you going to read the book on your own? Okay, bye-bye. So in the description of this lovely little live stream, there's going to be a link at the very top of the description that will lead you into a Google Drive file. Download the file, and it contains chapter 18 to 19 of the book. Those are going to be the chapters that I will be reading today. If you choose to read them with me as I'm reading it, lovely, here we go. If you choose to look at them while I am reading them, then as you are. If you do not want to download them because you simply want to just rest and forget about everything else, then by all means, please do as you wish, do as you please. I will not hold you accountable for anything. All I want you to do is just to rest and be safe and be, comfortable with what we're doing today. I too will also make my escape. Oh, okay. Goodbye, local protag. Be careful and be safe as well. So, if we're doing that, we'll be reading a story. We'll go forth and, we'll see what we can do. There we are. Give you guys about a minute. Within that minute, I will go ahead and drink some more water. Thank you. Alright. There you go. I think I have given you your allotted time of needs, basically. So here we are. Chapter 18. The Egg. Let me just find myself a comfortable position to be in. Okay. And lovely. The Egg. Aiden listened to the story that Kai told him, not knowing which words was he exactly supposed to believe. With the knowledge he had now, he knows to trust him even less, but if what he said were to believe, he is the only man he could trust with his life. A sister. He never thought that someone of his bloodline existed. To him, it was always, and it always has been him all alone. Mallory felt that way too, but it never really got to explore that side of him, that much due to his lack of understanding of anything around him. Knowing that his life may have purpose now, Aiden started thinking of something he could do to save his sister. There was no sense of urgency in his thoughts to him. He never really knew her or has any memories to serve as a way of urging him to rescue her. He does not know of what he looked like, let alone if he was still alive. The curiosity inside of him grew hungry, knowing that there might be answers to questions he has been asking for a very long time about himself and everything around him. What do you propose we do, Kai? Aiden said. What do you mean? Kai said. Are you content with her being locked up in that place forever? Aiden replied. Save her. Where is she to save? Or where is she to live? Kai said. In the Moon Crescent Theatre. The stage needs more actors after all. Might as well have someone of my own blood be here. Aiden replied. Kai smirks. Kai smirks a little at Aiden. He did not do so out of ridiculousness, but more or less due to his passion to save someone he does not know himself. If that is your wish, then I shall support you on it, Kai said. Kai stood up from his chair and straightened his coat. He walked towards the door, closing it behind him as soon as his feet touched the other side. Aiden, looking at the figure of Kai, wondered to himself of many thoughts. He let his thoughts dance around his head with the sweet melody and rhythm of doubt, aimlessly twisting and turning, falling and rising on the floor. He watched as his thoughts from conscious to defy the laws of the dancer that danced to his rhythm of doubt. Even in this display of conscious and unconscious thinking, an urge rises to the tune, a familiar sensation of the urge to help someone in need. He knew very well what that sensation has led him to before, but at the same time it was the feeling that he could not shake off. It is deep-seated within him to do so. It's my turn to save you this time, sister of mine, Aiden said out loud to himself, briefly sighing right after. Aiden heads to bed for tomorrow. Will be quite a busy day for him, and all the people involved. At the brink of dawn, as the rays of light shone through his room, Aiden woke up to put on his clothes. He puts on the same coat he has been wearing to the wooden cross and the same shirt as well, making sure that everything is tucked in properly. To him, he would rather not have to fiddle with his clothes today. Checking that everything is in order, he moved on to meet Kai at the entrance of the theatre. He stood there waiting for him, dressed in the same fashion as always. The two, without saying a word to each other, marched forth to the wooden cross. Although Aiden had other plans, for he ran to prevent himself from feeling nauseated by the atmosphere outside. Crashing through the door at high speeds, Aiden bends his knees to take a breather, only to straighten his back to the receptionist. Rather than the usual one he has come to expect, the receptionist was replaced. The person standing at the water below wore a white robe with a golden mask and a golden torn crown on his head. The facial expression fixed on was that of a man and not amused, but the features seemed rather chiseled and cartoonish. "A good day to you, young actor," the receptionist said. "Yes, good day as well," Aiden said, trying to catch his breath. The receptionist seemed to have a more monotone voice compared to the last receptionist. The man moved lower yet with grace as he gestured Aiden to wash his hands on the bowl. Aiden followed through, and Kai comes in behind him and performed the same ritual. After the two of them split their ways, each going to their respective doors, opening the door, Aiden was met with the presence of a lady in a black nun outfit. She had small golden spikes coming out of her back of her head. Her face was covered with golden mask. No expression on it except for 2 holes for the masks and for the eyes. Trying to avoid direct contact with it, he continued to move forward, staring at his destination, Andrew's office. The distance getting shorter and shorter, the two crossed each other's path. Aiden could not help but look over to the stranger. In between her mask and where his chin is supposed to be in is an empty void of nothing. Though the glimpse was short, something seemed like it was slipping through it. The exchange was short and Aiden saw no more, and she seemed not fazed by it. He continued walking to the door, knocking on it twice upon arrival. There he saw Aiden standing over the glass plane, looking at his actors. Hearing the sound of the knocks, Andrew turned around to face him. "Not a spectator for a play," Andrew said. "More of a curious mind, I'm afraid," Aiden said. "Need water." "Ah, yes. Well, come with me then," Andrew said. He moved towards Aiden and opened the door. Behind them, back onto the corridor, they opened the door that Aiden had passed many times before. You could ever count. Reaching out from his pocket, a set of keys hanging by a circular piece of metal. Each key looked different than the ones beside it. Some looked old while others looked brand new. Some were jeweled while others were left empty. He placed the key with an egg on the handle of it to the door, twisting it once to the right. He waits in that position. Aiden looked at the door and saw that the lock was moving with 2 independent circles moving opposite to each other. A quiet click sound is heard. Andrew then twisted it to the left, allowing the same thing to happen again, finally unlocking the door. Behind was a massive hallway that seemed to never end, but that was not the case at all. Upon the locking of the door behind them, the hallway lit up, showing a small glimmer of light at the end of it. 2 of them walked, following the light at the end of the hall. None of them spoke, and none of them seemed like they wanted to. Aiden kept observing his surroundings for a place for him to escape, or perhaps be careful, but alas, there was nothing. The hallways and the walls of it were made out of white marble, with golden borderlines from the top and the bottom. The floor made out of quartz, echoing every footstep that they had. The closer they came to the light, the clearer it is that the thing that awaits them at the end of it. As Aiden's eyes gazed to adjust to the light, his eyes gazed upon a massive door. Before him was a substantially sized door with a curved bottom. Bordered with gold and silver, at the middle of it, it lays a massive ruby egg, decorated with circular patterns. The patterns did not extend to the core of it, leaving behind some of the ruby for the onlookers to marvel at. They were not the only ones there. Upon looking down, Aiden found a large amount of people headed towards the door. all in dark red robes, ragged and tattered from the bottom. They walked, and some limped, and others crawled their way to the door. Though they moved, they never seemed to move from their place. The floor beneath them seemed to move along with them. Those are pilgrims, believers of the egg of Valkyrie. They believe that such an act will earn them favoritism or favor amongst their new lord, said Andrew. His feet were not moving towards the door. They moved away from it. Aiden followed him, wondering with every step as to where they are going. Taking a left from the first instance of the door, they are to return to a hallway, but one which is different from the ones he has seen in the wooden cross. Glass planes replaced the marble walls, and behind them were people, men and women wearing the robes of the wooden cross, all screaming, banging on the glass plane with their hands bruised and bleeding. Their expressions are nothing Aiden has ever seen, with mouths wide open, with the sides of their lips red, almost ready to give up. Their skin on their mouth about to be torn from all the screaming. Their teeth grew yellow with holes in every tooth. Averting his eyes, he tried looking to his only left to find men with golden masks hanging by their wrists. Their head hung low, yet they seemed to bleed no more. One of the hanging men's masks looked like it were about to fall, and fall it did, revealing an empty void. There was a massive crater on his voice. No flesh, no muscle, or anything of that sort. Simply nothing. He continued moving, trying his best to keep his composure. Rather than looking to his sides, he fixated his vision forward to prevent his eyes from straying, but the curiosity of a man is a blessing and a curse, and with it you can achieve so much and lose so much more. Not realizing the existence of the door in front of them, Andrew stopped. Aiden saw two masked guards that carried no weapons. They carried nothing in their hands. They simply stood there. I have led you as far as I can. The rest is for you, and the rest is for your own to enjoy. Andrew said. Aiden took a step forward, and the door behind him closed. The room was dark, but soon the room started to get brighter. Greyish green in colour, with grey carpets. They had no furniture to speak of. At the middle of the room, a large staircase extending high up. He followed the stairs with his eyes and saw a girl with her back against an egg sleeping. Behind the egg was a massive wall of coloured painted glass with drawings on it. It was of a woman donning a green robe, and her hair was as white as pearl. She had what looked like a scar around her shoulder. Her hand reached out to the bird hatching from the egg, spreading its featherless wings. The tall and colourful, filled with vibrance. From this perspective, he saw the painted glass as something bigger than him, and he was right to make such an assumption. To his right and to his left, more painted glass windows are in view. The one to his left depicted the small girl, looking so small compared to a massive bird flocking its wings in the air and looking over what seemed like the world. The one to the right was of a pit, with the bird hovering on it, people below him praying to it, with their hands reaching to the sky, some of the people below running while the others stayed. Aiden walked up the stairs to take a closer look at the girl. With every step he grew nervous. He knew nothing of this woman, but that fear turned into admiration. The closer he got, the more of her details he saw. She wore a long white cape robe. Her body was small and thin, resulting in her arms having a large gap between her sleeves. Under her robe, she wore a white nightgown with white embroideries on it. I need to drink some water. Let me read some chat. Thank you. Hi Fumi. Hi Spring-chan. Hello, welcome to the stream. Hi. What's happening? I am reading a story. So every Friday I write some poems and I read them, as well as the story that I wrote 3 months ago. Actually, no, 5 months now. So we are currently in chapter 18. If you would like to continue, the link is in the description. You can download the chapter if you want to read with me. I am currently on page 209. But yeah, I'm reading it for everyone. Getting closer enough to be within the reach, he noticed that on her forehead, She had a silver tiara with small little jewels of pearl, diamond, and ruby at the center that covered her eyes. Locks of white mixed with black locks, her hair was longer than her in height, reaching far beyond her feet. Glossy pink lips glimmering and reflecting, he drew closer to see her facial details, but as he got closer, he felt a sudden grip on his elbow joint. The girl pulled him closer to her, placing his head on her shoulder. "Don't you think a lady should be left alone to her own chamber?" she softly said to Aiden in his ears. The girl slowly touched Aiden's face, not missing a single crevice. She felt his face, his eyes, his hair, and as well as his lips with her fingers. She let out a smile, hugging Aiden tightly. "I missed you, Michael," she said, with a voice shaking violently, seemingly incapable of controlling itself. His shoulders rose wet as she cried out of joy for the moment. She held her brother in her arms, with her strength only growing with every second. She hasn't felt her brother in a very long time, not even a soul for that matter. His skin felt as cold as ice, the kind that burns the longer that you hold it. Pulling him away from her and holding his face up with her hands. "Oh, how much have you grown," she said. "Are you, perhaps," Aiden said. "Why, yes, I'm your sister. How can you not recognize me?" she said, sounding as she was offended. It wasn't much of an issue if it were It wouldn't much. Sorry, God, I can't read. It wasn't much of an issue if it were who I was. I wouldn't have recognized you. It was more of you not recognizing me, Aiden said. She smiled at him, and hers was warmer, with no ill intent behind it. It lacked that aspect he has gotten used to. "No matter how long the days grow old, I will never forget my little brother," she said with a gentle tone. Perplexed by this, Aiden did not know how this woman claiming to be his sister recognized him, even when he has changed faces multiple times. Countless bodies sauntered with his soul, as they are to be passed down with little resemblance to the prior bodies. He could not help but wonder. "Fiona, can you tell me what I used to look like when I was younger?" Aiden said. "You were the sweetest child when you were younger. You were a coward, always ran away to my arms when the neighbors' dogs ran after you. You never liked your peas and refused to sleep with a light on. Because father told you a story that terrified you, you were a fast runner and... What about in terms of appearance?" Aiden interrupted. "Oh, you had dark hazel eyes and black hair, a bit tanned but pale whenever you're sick," Fiona replied. Fiona placed her hand on Aiden, holding his hand firmly, gently caressing it with her thumb. Not a moment has passed when she did not touch him or hold him. She thought that he did not embody those features anymore. He had gone through many changes in terms of his voice and height, that no matter what on a biological basis his body is, far from what she has described. Unbothered by this and content with touching her brother, Fiona giggled briefly every now and then. "Why are you giggling?" Aiden asked. "Never have I thought my cowardly brother were to have such rough hands. His hands were softer than the pillows we slept on during winter," Fiona said. "How long have you been here?" he said. "I've been here ever since we were 8. I am to be 24 in 3 nights, she said. "How are you able to know such a thing? I presume they never bought you cake to celebrate your birthday," he said. "I am reminded of my birthday every year by the guards, never to be given cake, at least. That's at the beginning few years, until it was celebrated every year with a cake from here on out," she said. "Has their hearts grown softer?" he asked. "No. A knight of the theatre prepared it for me every year. He told me of your growth in your career. I'm sorry that you had to be an actor to sustain yourself. But all will be well when the egg hatches," she said as she kisses his hand. Behind his sister was a massive egg, reminiscent of a Fabergé. Can't read today. A Fabergé. The decorative lines were painted in gold, while the egg itself remained white. Not a single spot and or remark is left on the egg. It looked as if it was polished every single day. The same ruby could be found on the very tip of the egg. "What is in the egg?" Aiden asked. "Everything. Everything." Excited, she got up from her seating position and onto her feet. She ran towards the side of the egg, clinging onto it as she started to explain to Aiden. "The egg contains hope and life for this treacherous land. It will bring forth fertility to the soil and will bring voices to those out in the streets. A sun brighter than the morning sun, she proclaimed as loud as she could, her hands wrapping itself around as much of the egg as possible, embracing it. Who told you that? Aiden said. Many nights and actors that I overhear. She points to one of the walls in her chambers. Oh, jeez. The wall over here is far too thin. I can hear them practice and chant her, she said. You may call it that, but I have faith in this creature. It's the only hope Arusa ever has to thrive. All I can do is make the city a better place for you, she said. Where is it? Fuck. 4 knocks were heard on the door, without permission from the inhabitant of the chamber. Those whom knocked allowed themselves in. From the door, the same nun-dressed actress came in. Groups of 2 in a single file line from each side. They carried chains, while the other one in the middle carried a plain wooden box. They approached them slowly, but stopped at the bottom of the stairs. From behind them at the door, Andrew came into the room. Drink some water. Thank you. I have to head to work now, but have a good dream. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Lumi. Be safe and take care. See you later, Fumi in chat. Bye bye. Bye. Thank you, Fumi. Hibernation is a mood. I too have simply hibernated. Yeah, I've been hibernating a lot. Okay, so here we are. It seems I've interrupted a family reunion. Andrew raised his arms from both sides. Sir Andrew, good evening to you, Fiona said. A nice evening to you as well. I see that you have I see that you have worn your ceremonial clothes, Andrew said. Yes, sir. How could a mother such as I forget the day her child is to be born, Fiona said. Her eyes reached to hold Aiden's. You bastard. What is it that you plan to do? Said Aiden, a foul mouth directed towards the man who reunited you two. You truly are ungrateful, young actor. Words of gratitude tickling your fancy. I fear I have little to none of them, said Aiden. You're right. Your gratitude should not be directed at me, but rather your sister. You see, she begged at anyone who listened to her beckoning call to have one last hand to hold, one last meeting. Oh God, one last meeting with her brother, Andrew said. Aiden looked at Fiona, but she did not react. I graciously thank you, Sir Andrew, for accepting my humble request. Aiden distraught at his sister's words. He knew not of what to think of her. Of the many stories he has heard of her, he thought of her as a hero, yet now she has succumbed to the lullabies of the dark. Fetch her to me, Andrew said. The nuns moved up to the stairs, maintaining their formation. Aiden tried to think of a way out, but the only way he could see is the door behind Andrew. He grabbed his sister's wrist and pulled her with him as he ran. You could feel a little resistance from his sister, but she soon stopped, hardly letting Aiden notice it. Running down the stairs, Aiden pushed the middle one off to the side, allowing passage for the both of them. Andrew tried to stop them, but failed as he got pushed. He lands his face first, breaking his mask slightly. The right side of the mask crumbled with pieces falling off to the side of it. Never looking back, the two of them ran past the glass-planed corridor and through the locked gate, making it out to the wooden cross corridors. They are pursued by Joseph and his fellow actors. Pulling his sister closer to him, he ran to the door which he came from during his previous visits, crashing into it with his shoulder. Behind the door, the receptionist saw Aiden as well as Fiona. Saint Fiona, the receptionist said, attempting to touch her as he reached his hand out, only to be knocked out cold by a hit on the head by Kai. Using the bowl, rendering the receptionist unconscious. Throwing the bowl to the side, Kai looked at the two of them. Expecting a sigh or anger from Kai, Aiden urged him to hurry. Kai, scold me later. We don't have time, said Aiden. Kai? Fiona said faintly underneath her breath. Your orders are my command. Kai said, kicking the front entrance open. The door came down crashing. The pursuers catching up to them, the three of them ran out into the streets. There it was again, the nagging chant, the never-ending words that will forever chant until the end of time. Piercing his ears, he knew he wouldn't last long, so he ran as fast as his legs could carry him. He begged his body to not give up, but his body was not under his own command. Breaths growing shorter and sharper, it got harder to breathe and much harder to run. With petals slowly coming from his nose, he mustered whatever strength he has left within him to push Fiona towards Kai. Startled by this, yet he managed Kai to grab Fiona by her arm. Noticing that Aiden was about to faint, Kai stopped to catch Aiden lifting him up by his shoulder. With Fiona being pulled by her arm and Aiden on his shoulder, it was his duty to get them both to safety. To repent for his sins, he did not care if it made it, but all he wished for was for these two to make it safe and live the life that they longed for. The pedestrians cared nothing for the man carrying two people, and the many pursuers, everyone is to mind their own business and not speak a word of any of this, no matter the urgency of the situation. The three made it to the doorstep of the Moon Crescent Theatre, picking up speed the closer he got to the door, putting all his weight on the door, breaking it and opening it. Fiona tripped from the crash and falls, while Aiden, completely unconscious, fell on her chest. Kai fell on his back but quickly shot back up to close the door behind him. The door closed and the sound of many crashes could be heard as the wooden crest actors, not being able to manage their speed, crashed into each door. Those who remained standing knocked on the door. Loud banging is heard as Kai stood breathless, readying himself for a fight if he is to have one. "Are they going to hurt us?" said Fiona. "If they are to honor the treaty, then no, but those bastards have been doing as they please for years now. I almost doubt it," said Kai. Fiona caressed her brother's hair gently as they both lay on the ground. Some of the actors from the theatre moved towards the door to see what the whole commotion was about. People peeking from their seat or from the higher seats area. Staff members looking, but not a thing to stop it. After a while, the knocking stopped. Kai placed his ear on the door and heard the silence he has been accustomed to. Knocking, this has held Fiona up, and then puts Aiden on his shoulder. "A gentleman as always, aren't you?" said Fiona. "I'm no gentleman," Kai said. He extends his hand towards Fiona. She rests her hand on his, allowing Kai to aid her down the stairs and to their destination. He took them to Aiden's room, placing him on his bed. He placed a chair up for Fiona to sit on as he goes out to grab the old man. "Stay here," Kai said. Fiona sat tightly on her chair, slowly moving her hands around her unconscious brother. "You've been through a lot, haven't you? Oh, how brave have you become," she said. A singular tear falls from her eyes and onto her arms. Her fingers, making their way slowly to his nose, felt that rather than blood, something soft and small was felt. It resembled the sensation of a flower. She picked one up to touch it with both of her hands, playing around with it. Pulling it up to her nose, she smelled the fragrance that came from it. As she was born among flowers, she instantly knew the flower this petal belonged to. "Adonis," she said to herself underneath her breath. Why would a flower petal be within the presence of her brother? She thought to herself. Little did she know that someone was looking at her. Kai knocked on the door with a change of clothes for Aiden. "Yes, who is it?" Fiona said. "Me." "I see you've seen your brother's petals," Kai said. "These came from him?" Fiona asked. "Yes, he has grown to be someone unlike others," said Kai. "Is it something beautiful?" Fiona asked, with a voice that was clinging on to hope that her brother did not turn into the stuff of nightmares. "It's trying to be," Kai said, sounding dejected. Kai placed the clothes on the table, kneeling down to Fiona. He held her hands and looked at her. "Your brother is trying, and he is still trying to be something you could marvel at. He is... What does it look like?" Fiona said, standing scared of what her brother has become. Kai took her hand and led her away from Aiden's room. Through the backstage and onto the stage itself, in the middle where people performed and laughed, loved and cried, died and lived, stood in the middle of it like a monument, was the actor. Okay, give me a second. I just need to grab some water. Here we are. Her hand being placed onto the leg of the actor, her hands she felt. Rough, dry skin rotting and decaying bit by bit. Nothing but skin and bone. The tip of her fingers feel a rougher line. It was of the scars left from his cutting, and between those scars are orange bubbles with a fetus attached to its umbilical cord. Touching the orange bubble, she felt a firm skin-like texture from it. It held liquid, and it felt like it was going to erupt at any given notice. As she touched the actor, Fiona cried. "Brother, oh how cruel has fate treated you," said Fiona, crying under her tiara. Using both of her hands as she touched the orange bubble and placed her forehead on it, feeling the heartbeat of the fetus inside of it. "Is this my brother as well?" said Fiona. "All of them are," said Kai. Fiona fell on the floor, covering her tiara with her hands, crying and crying. She could not stop, and she did not want to stop. She knew that no amount of tears would revert her brother back to who he used to be. All she could utter, her words her brother won't hear. "I'm sorry, Michael. I'm so very sorry." Next one. Chapter number 19. A visit to a garden. Now, before I do that, give myself a little break. Stretching. For some reason, the thing in my mouth is causing me to salivate a bit more. So, oh wow, Fidget Girl. Oh hi, Fidget Girl. Welcome to the stream. Hello, 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 hello. Are you confused? Oh god, what are you confused about? While I still have time to respond. Good god. Am I salivating because I'm hungry, or am I salivating because of this thing in my mouth? I particularly have no answer to it. But I do propose it could be due to both. But Fidget Girl, in case you're confused as to what's going on, I am reading a story. And said story is basically, well, you know, something I wrote, and every Friday I read poems and stories. That's sort of like what I do. It's sort of like my thing. So, yeah. But I will say, though, I will have a little bit of a break before we continue the next chapter. As I'm very hungry. I'm starving. So, I'll eat a little bit. Because I just got my food right now. I've got some noodles. So, if you don't mind, that is. I'll have a bit of a bite. Don't worry, I won't finish the whole bowl. I'll have a bit. Food ASMR? No, I won't turn this into a food ASMR. No. I'll finish my bowl once I'm done streaming. Don't worry. I make ugly sounds when I eat. Alright. That should be enough. Just a couple of bites. Do I have water? It was hot. Oh, nah. I like cold noodles. This is a weird thing about me, but I like cold noodles. Like, it's currently like summer, so I really like cold noodles. It's a thing, so I'm gonna let it rest for a bit while I finish everything. Namyong, yeah, namyong, yeah, yep, you're right. cold. Who are you? No, it's a thing. It's a thing. If you go to a ramen shop, they ask you if you want it hot or cold, and I go cold when it's, very hot outside. It's a real thing. I love it. I love cold noodles. It's a weird concept in your head, but when you get around it, it's really good. Yeah. In ramen shops, they ask you, do you want it to be cold or not? And then if you go cold, then you get a cold broth. They usually ask you that. Do you want a cold noodle? Do you want hot? And if you go hot, well, they give you a normal bowl of ramen. If you say cold, then they serve you a cold bowl of ramen. They do. And I had it a lot. I had a lot of it when I was in Korea, and it was so good. It's so good. Oh, I'm gonna grab a couple more bites. Sorry, I'm starving. Dump vinegar on it. I don't like dumping vinegar on it. I like spicy cold noodles. That's what I like. Or ginseng noodles. Oh, those are good. Oh, sorry. God, I need to stop or else I'm going to actually end up eating my lunch on stream, which is something you don't want to hear. I'll be very honest with you. But actually listening to me eating my lunch isn't really that good. Oh, what did you do today? Oh, of course, I did a lot of things today. Oh, what is it? I watched my friend eat his food on stream because that was content. Noodle serving isn't bad here. Mukbang time. Oh, slip. Oh, good God. Munch crunch. Oh my God. I want to do, I can't do mukbangs because if I eat a lot, I actually feel nauseated. So I tend to avoid eating a lot of food. I just eat until I'm full. Give us the ASMR, Fumi. Oh my God. I don't think it's a good idea. Fine, I'll give you a little bit. You'll hear it. Shit. I don't like this. I don't like this. I really don't. I don't understand how this could be content. It's just me eating my lunch. That sounds literally like the bonk sound. It does. Is this content? Is this the content you subscribe to? Really? This is worrying. This is worrying. Obviously, I'm going to be nervous about it because, I'm worried about I'm worried of the noises I make on a daily basis. So the fact that I am this close to my microphone eating food is a worrying experience. It's a very worrying experience. I don't know if I like this. I know I don't know if I like this either. I particularly don't. I mean, I'm almost done. One of these days, I swear to you, there might come a time where I'm just going to turn on stream just to eat lunch. Fuck it, I might even eat dinner that way. I'm going to say this right now. In the future, I feel like I'm going to do this as a joke, maybe seriously, where I'm actually just going to turn on stream. And as soon as I turn on stream, I will literally just call it cook dinner with me. So I'll be cooking the food and then eating the food. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing. So it's a cooking stream that is also an eating stream. Why Fumiyo did this stuff so that chat understands why I shouldn't do ASMR. This is literally me showing you guys why I shouldn't be doing ASMR or food ASMR to be more particular. Just take it as a punishment. He was like, punishment? Fuck, I'm getting pleasure from this. It's not peer pressure. It's more or less more like it's to prove a point that this isn't good content. or more like it's not a content I'm capable of producing. I think that's a much more better term. Give me a second, chat. I'll go grab some water. 2 minutes, because I don't have a mini fridge. I'm considering buying the Xbox mini fridge at this point. Hold on. I'm back. Sorry about that. Got some water and all that. What is the poem or whatever it's called about? Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It's one of those things that you shouldn't worry about. Alright, so shall we finish the last chapter for today? I'm very confused. I don't know how to explain it to you, and I don't think I'll be able to, even though I'm the person who wrote it. It's a lot better if you went back to the archives of the stories, because you'll slowly at least understand what's going on, and then from that point on I can help you understand what it's about. Because if I explain to you now, I think it would be difficult, because we're in chapter 19, which means I have to explain to you the prior events to chapter 19, which is a lot, and as well what they mean. So we'll be here for a while. Remember, dude. Don't worry about it. Don't explain it. Then just explain it. Okay. Alright. To be fair, though, you're not wrong. Speedrun. Speedrun. Just speedrun it all. I would, but yeah, I can't speedrun something I'm slowly forgetting with half of the brain cell that I have right now. So let's continue the last chapter, so I could send you all your way. So here we go. Sorry, to blow my nose. Chapter number 19. A visit to the garden. Laying in his bed, Aiden remained unconscious. On his bedside, with his hand being held by his sister Fiona, she fell asleep, worrying about her brother. A sudden yet gentle movement could be felt from the fingers. She's clinging onto him, jolting her back to being awake. "Michael," she exclaimed. Turning over to the face her sister slowly, he felt a sharp pain in his head and lower back. It was a kind of pain that felt like it would weigh you down while also feeling hollow. He felt his sister's hands holding onto him, his eyes fixated on her hand. "Did you hold my hand throughout this time?" Aiden said. "I couldn't help myself. I got worried I might never see you again." Aiden looked up to her and assured her that he would be able to see her again and again, no matter what, as he knew that he would be born again as many times as he wants. Little did he know that his sister knows the grim truth he's oblivious to, conflicting her feelings. Eating food always gives me a runny nose. Give me a second. For very unpleasing noises, I mute my mic. Okay, here we go. "Where's Kai?" Aiden said. He got up to sit straight. Fiona, hearing the grunts of pain, placed her hand on his back to support him. His feet on the ground, he tried to muster up the energy to get himself off the bed. Kai came in through the door, leaning at the door, and looking at them from both. Look at both of them. Can't read today, apparently. "What are you looking at?" Aiden said. "Nothing." He chuckled and smiled. Kai felt this overwhelming happiness seeing the two siblings together after so many years. He'd like to think that they were never separated in the beginning. "Right. I went to talk to the staff members of the Moon Crescent Theatre. Fiona is now under the protection program and will remain until further notice. Which is code word for, it's getting too messy to handle," Kai said. "Where's she staying?" "I presume not in my room," Aiden said. "Do you have any better ideas?" Kai said. Fiona pulled on Aiden's sleeve with her thumb, trying to get his attention. "It's okay. We can sleep together in the same bed." She smiled at her brother. "Why not? If things get uncomfortable, I can arrange for a house for the both of you to stay in, with separate rooms, that is." The two of them agreed to share a bed and a room together until they find somewhere to live. Aiden wanted to give his sister a normal life now that she is back, Although he grew insecure and unconscious of his actions the longer he stayed with her, wondering if she is acting like the brother she once knew. I'll be going to the shops in a bit. Considering how Aiden always has a wardrobe full of them, I'll have to buy Fiona some clothes. No, it's okay. These clothes fit me fine. I have no need for new clothes, Fiona said. Nonetheless, that place is no more, and having you wear that is unacceptable, Kai said. Do they not please the eyes? Fiona said, looking down on her clothes, touching the ends of it and the decorations on it. They are a reminder of the past that will never come to haunt you again. I'll get you new clothes and of the conversation, okay? Yes, sir. She replied. Moving away from the door frame, vanishing into the hallway, the two siblings are left to their own devices. Curious of his sister's way of acting towards Kai, he asked her a question. Are you familiar with Kai? Oh, whenever we come to the Wooden Cross, he's called Kai the Feodian Knight, Aiden asked. Oh, I've known Kai for a very long time now. He used to be my guard and attendant. He took care of us both when we first arrived at that place and took care of you when we got separated, Fiona replied. From her time in her chamber, Fiona spent her days daydreaming of the world outside and the safety of her brother. To keep her company and to relieve her was Kai, whom kept watch of Aiden reporting back to Fiona about the events from what he has eaten, to what he looks like, to what he has gotten himself up to. Knowing her brother was doing well compared to her made her happy and gave her a reason to continue the job she was tasked with. Looking around for things to do with her, and found that nothing around her might be a good idea. Although his room is small and not that expressive in terms of furniture and decorations, he kept his room layout roughly the same as Mallory's. He cared not for what it looked like. To him, it was just a place to sleep and a place for him to rest. There was no need for it to be appealing. While examining his room, he realized that Fiona hasn't moved her eyes away from the door. Was she still thinking of Fiona? Sorry, was she still thinking of Kai? Fiona thinking of Fiona. Fiona, Aiden asked. Fiona moved her right hand, trying to find Aiden's hand. When her fingers found his hand, she held it and looked at him. Yes, Fiona replied. How many fingers do I have? Aiden said, as he raised 2 fingers up to Fiona. Fiona simply smiled, reaching out to touch his fingers, wrapping her fingers around them and moving them around. 2, she giggles. Fiona, are you blind? Aiden said. Unfortunately, yes. My eyes have been taken away from me, as it reveals the sightless things that they should not see. What is it that you are not allowed to see? Said Aiden. The betrayal of the actors, the fall of Arusa, a lonely boy that heads north, many events we are never allowed to see and or ask about, said Fiona. Fiona touched her tiara with her hand, gently, as if to remember what got her in this position to begin with. Aiden could not help but look at the pattern on her hand that blended itself into her entire appearance. There is nothing to be scared of anymore. You are far and away from that place, Aiden said. There is no escape for people like us, Michael. We are bound to our destiny, forever dancing to its tune and submitting to its muse, Fiona said. No matter how Fiona spoke, she always smiled. Whether it was due to her being outside for the first time in a long while, but there was this cold undertone to her voice. She believed that there was no escape from fate. One could cross with it, but never escape it. We are truly bound to it. Fiona stood up from her chair and attempted to walk around in Aiden's room. She had her arms stretched out to stop her from bumping into the walls or into people. Aiden watched her as she walked into a complete circle. Your room is smaller than I expected, said Fiona. I don't give it much thought, said Aiden. Every room used to be bigger than this. I had stuffed toys and trinkets of many histories, Fiona said. What were they? Snow globes, music boxes, toy soldiers that you loved playing with. I would always joke about how you will never make it to be a soldier, Fiona said, laughing. What about father? Aiden said. Fiona stopped in her place, trying to locate the voice that spoke to her. With her arms out, she headed towards Aiden. Father wasn't home for most of the time. He got busy with his plays, and even at home, with the little time he had, he continued to practice. Where am I? Continued to practice, said Fiona. Her hands felt the cheeks of her brother and leaned to touch his forehead with hers. We used to sit like this a lot when we got scared. No one was home for most of our lives, and we had to learn everything for ourselves. Mom used to punish us for picking up habits from the kids in the village. She continued. What habits did we pick up? In us, being noisy. We were all too curious, sometimes far too curious. We also used to sing and dance with the other village kids, but I suppose that is a fleeting memory now, Fiona said. A tiara grazed Aiden's forehead. In this moment, Aiden felt a feeling of serenity. He was a foreigner to this practice, but he felt nostalgic about it. It felt warm, it felt real. Aiden remained quiet and allowed her to speak and do as she pleased. There was never any freedom to be had at those chambers, and so he gave her the freedom to speak. He knew that talking about the past after the burning of the village would not help, but she may find peace with knowing that someone else knows of it and cared. Wanting her to adjust to her new surroundings, he proposed a solution that she may or may not like. Would you like to be an actor of this theatre? Said Aiden. Fiona leaned away from Aiden and looked at him. It's actors that got us here to begin with, said Fiona. It's different here. The director's far kinder, and father used to work here as well, said Aiden. Do you know who your director is? Asked Fiona firmly. If I were to answer in terms of who the director is as a person, then I would not have a clue, said Aiden. And you wouldn't be the only one either. The directors are entities exclusive to theatres. They do not exist in the wild, they exist only in the confines of their theatre, to write and write until the end of time, said Fiona. Isn't that the role that they play? Without them, actors would go into chaos. They are an essential part of the theatre, said Aiden. Perhaps. So your director might be kinder than theirs. I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't know it at all, Fiona. I've only seen a couple of times. If asked, I wouldn't be able to, have a formed opinion, said Aiden. I wonder what your director looks like, said Fiona. Sure, but I can't promise you'll be satisfied with what you hear. The director is clad in a veil. You can see through it, but what is seen is not easily comprehended. You can't see the body lines of the director, even though it writes papers and fully detailed plots coughed out from underneath the veil. We never really know what it looked like, but perhaps that is different from your director, said Aiden. I've only seen our director a couple of times. He's a bearded man who has shown light and warmth to many of his actors, said Fiona. If he was kind, he wouldn't have allowed them to do as bad as they did, said Aiden. It's never the intention of any director to do so either. They are shaped by their actors. Then this director of mine is better if I'm a part of it. It's better to rid ourselves of such a career. I swear you and our father used to be so much brighter, said Fiona. Caught up in their conversation, a familiar face brought himself onto the room. The old man whom came in to call for Aiden finds his little surprise. Oh, sorry, did I not know we had a guest, said the old man. Fiona, whose back was towards the old man, looked at his direction. She waved at him, greeting him with enthusiasm. It's been a while, Uncle Alfred, said Fiona. Yes, it has been a while, Lady Fiona, said the old man. Do you know each other? Said Aiden. Yes, we were neighbours at the village. Kai told me that he was one of the few people that survived the burning, Fiona said. I am sorry if I were to come off as deceiving. I simply wanted no harm to come your way. Lady Fiona and Kai instructed me to aid you in your pursuit of a normal life, said Alfred. The boy was clueless as the cogs and gears of his world moved on their own. He had no say in this, and neither did Mallory according to his memory. His paranoia started to kick in, but he's wise enough not to let it show. Remembering his purpose of coming, Alfred returned, looking at Aiden. A play is awaiting you. This one is one you may not be able to leave as you were away from the stage for quite some time, said Alfred. Right, I'll see to it. Knowing you are an acquaintance, if not family, to the both of us, then I will leave her in your care, said Aiden. I shall, said Alfred. And that is the end of chapter number 19, which is also, subsequently, the end of today's stream. Okay. Well, everyone, that is the end of chapter 19. So, good God. We got Fiona back. We have his sister. Living our best lives, mates. Living our best lives. So, tomorrow, for those who don't know, tomorrow, which is going to be a Saturday and Sunday will be my day off, which means that I won't be streaming on Saturday and Sunday. I will take a break, obviously. It's my weekend, so I'm gonna just lay low, sleep more, just eat, and just rest up. Be a person, live up my life here in Purgatory. And number 2, next week is going to be the start of Demon Week, which means that I will be playing really difficult games, or at least difficult games in different aspects. And that's going to be what I'm going to be doing. Schedules will come out hopefully an hour or 2 from the stream so that all of you can get acquainted with what's going on. It will be in the announcement sections in the server, so please do check that out if you would like to know when is my streaming time. If you do not have a Discord account and can't join the server for some reason, then check back onto the YouTube channel and you'll have a scheduled stream layout in front of you that will tell you when the stream is going to start or when it's going to end, roughly around that time. If you follow me on Twitter, though, on the other hand, I will also post up the schedule there. But anyway, last words before I leave. Thank you everyone for watching, as always, and accompanying me as I'm reading a book or reading poems. As always, thank you very much. And also, I would like to thank all of you, everyone. Thank you so much for working hard, for passionately putting all of your passion and determination into what you do, from schoolwork to everything from, schoolwork, actual work, to family matters, or just simply putting work onto yourself. A lot of people might not see it, but I do. Thank you very much for, genuinely, I'm very proud of everyone for doing the best that you can on a daily basis. Please, take care of yourself, everyone. Drink your water, eat your food, sleep well, please. I do care a lot about everyone. And yeah, thank you for the stream. Thank you as well, Russ. Thank you, love you too. Thank you. Love you all. Have a great day. Thank you. So, my name has been Fumiyo-kun, and it's been lovely having you all. Have a safe weekend, have a great day, and a great weekend in general. Konbanwa, oyasumi, ohayou gozaimasu, and じゃあね. Bye bye everyone, I love you. Bye. Bye.